As admirable as she appears, she is one of the hardest working women I know in North Lawndale, if not the hardest working. She's one of the most dedicated athletes I know. She's run about a dozen marathons in the last 15 years. So she rarely misses one. And when she is, she's probably in Japan climbing a mountain or out doing the Appalachian Mountains or out doing a mountain somewhere else in the world. So when she's not running, she mountain climbs. Can you believe it? She actually gets out her glam for a minute or two. But anyway, this is Shavonda Fields, one of my longtime friends, and one of the, as I said, hardest working public servants. And currently she is doing so many things. She's been a lead educator for Planned Parenthood in the Chicago Public Schools. She's developed curriculums for the Chicago Public Schools. She's developed curriculums to help ex-offenders, help those recovering from substance abuse. She has familiarity with a community in North Lawndale that's full of substance abuse. We've both had family and friends struggling with it. I'm one of the old friends, even though it's 35 years later, but the reality is I had my moment. Well, my few years and some formative years, but thank God for good health, wealth. And I'd probably been 100 pounds lighter 10 years earlier if I'd have let her train me and get me fit and trim earlier. But it didn't happen then, but she's glad to see me doing now. She's working on a health regimen. So she's a personal trainer. She also does group trainings, and she just do so much, like I said. But without further ado, I'll let her give you more specifics about the bio herself. So Shavonda Fields, take it over, my sister.
Oh, wow. Mr. Wilbert Cook, it's so nice to be here.
Delta.
Thank you for having of course, I'm a part of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority
groups,
Incorporated.
Yes.
Was initiated at Beta Chapter, which is a HBCU, Historically Black College and University, which is Wilberforce University, the first black private university in the country, where the Underground Railroad runs right behind our main campus. So I just want to tell you, thank you for being here. I wish, you would have thought I paid him to give me that introduction. But
you did, didn't you? No.
I mean, with friendship, with time, with
compassion.
Yeah, with interconnected families, knowing that when you are friends with a person and you love them truly like a brother, everything that come along with them, their nieces, their nephews, their sisters, their brothers, if we can help them, we do.
We do.
So I am grateful to be here.
By the way, how's Mom and Mr. Rick?
You know what? They are doing fine.
My buddies.
And you know, the good part about this is that sometimes we can be connected and not know we're connected. Right. Wilbert did not know he lived across the alley from my mother for 20 years, right?
For a few years.
For a few years. And he did not know. He was like, I don't know where you come from, but I say, well, I'll tell you where my mama never stayed. So it gave him some introspection on where I come from and what I have dealt with and why I'm passionate the way I am around health. My thing is faith, fitness, finances. Education is a tool, and knowledge, but most of all, wisdom. So thank you thank you for allowing me to be here. Most of the things that Wilbur said was true. With the Chicago Marathon being... I was a little off. No.
14 out of 15.
No. So, I would tell you, growing up in a community where, health wasn't taken as serious.
Definitely.
And growing up in a family where obesity, was the major cause of a lot of the ailments and the sickness of diabetes, asthma, high blood pressure, hypertension, and those things, trust me, it wasn't until I became an adult that I didn't even take physical education in high school, believe it or not.
Okay. Really? Okay.
So
I can believe it.
I am grateful that I made it a priority so I can be in this thing for the long run. And so the work that I do in the community, I'm a public health professional, been in public health since I was about 15 years old, starting at Cook County Hospital as a peer educator for HIV and AIDS patients. We were really bedside and hospice workers at 15, sitting by the bedside of those who did not have loved ones to come and see them on the weekend. So they recruited us from my school, Westinghouse Vocational High School.
Was that Ruth Rothstein? Or?
Yes. Yeah. And I was able to become a part of that peer education program where we educated our peers around prevention. Okay. And so that was
started before the new facility or right after?
Yes, before the new facility.
Right.
I would come in the old building.
Developing facilities to deal with them so they wouldn't be stigmatized by the regular population.
Right. And so I was 14 years old, 15, being trained to be a peer educator, and it came as second nature for me. Want to educate, empower, and inform my community about things that we may not know about, and especially my peers. And so that was the start of public health for me. Okay. And that has been a passion my entire life. And so after doing that and coming home, I worked at Planned Parenthood where I began to write and develop curriculums that they received about $6 million for.
Okay, right. Hey.
I mean, if I would have known then what I know now, I would have, would have written it and developed it myself. But when you work for somebody, they own the property in which you
developed.
you right.
You did all the work.
So,
late night hours.
I will tell you all, but that was really a highlight of my career. Being able to get that curriculum in over 55 Chicago public schools because at the time the president of the board was Mr. Michael Scott, Sr. And so I was grateful for that. And to also be able to implement it in 14 schools in North Lawndale. Right. And so, okay, I'm sorry. Wilbert is a friend of mine, so it's like talking to my friends, but they say we got to talk to the audience. And so that's what the background of my career. And so I'm here today trying to get on the ballot for Water Reclamation Commissioner for Cook County. This is something that I'm excited about. And what's so exciting is because this is one of those positions that you have to have nearly 8,000 signatures to get on the ballot of elected of voters in Cook County, that we have over 5 million voters. And so in order to do that, I need everybody's help in order to make that happen. That's one of the challenges of getting on the ballot for water reclamation. That's more signatures than the governor, more signatures than the congressman, more signatures than the senator, the commissioners, the aldermen, state reps. So this is probably the highest of the numbers.
You want to inform a little bit about what water reclamation does? Because many of them in the city may not know that. Cook County's water system is what purify all the water that come into our houses.
All of the water.
Chicago.
Listen, I will say that Cook County, the water reclamation, has done a phenomenal job of having one of the most sophisticated systems in the country. Cook County being the second largest county in this nation, I want you all to know that we have some of the best water that you can have, the purest water, the cleanest water. And so that's something that the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District does. They make sure that your water is clean, free from pollution, such as medications that we may put in our, that we dump out and we don't know what we're doing. Also sewage, drainage, storm water. And these are the things that they do. They also inform and educate people on how they can get involved in making sure that the water is clean, how they can reuse storm water, and what they can actually do to help stop the flooding in their basements. And so we also help out some of the other villages and smaller cities that's around the Chicagoland.
Almost all of them. Right.
And so making sure the infrastructure is up to date is crucial for them to receive this great water that we are filtering.
Yes.
Through the Metropolitan Water Reclamation. And so that's something that we do when, easily said, and make sure no poop is in our water. And so they do test it on a regular basis. I know several employees of the Water Reclamation, and you'll be surprised at the careers and the things that they do to make sure that there is no pollution in our waters, even from the companies that we have in our state and in our county. They go and they test the pollution that's in their water, making sure that the environment or wherever they are is safe as well. And so they do a lot to make sure that we're safe. I tell everybody, if you want to save someone, it's normally through water, right?
Right. But the other thing is that sometimes we always want to go to the city, which is lost, gave up, privatized over 20,000 jobs over the last, 20 years. But the county still has most of their jobs. We have given up a few thousand here and there and a few hundred here and there. However, majority of the county jobs still exist because it's so vast, large, and we have so many people to service. But the Water Reclamation District jobs, level of jobs, from entry level to those professional jobs, working there, most of us don't even know exist in the city of Chicago. So let us know about how many jobs are you all responsible for throughout the county?
Well, throughout the county, the thing is it's its own entity. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not sure the exact number of jobs that they have that are available, but I will let you all know that they do contract with several companies that make sure that they put our people in Cook County to work. They all of the infrastructure and the updates on infrastructure, they actually put people to work. And so that's the beauty of being able to sit on a commission that understand that the contracts that need to be put in place with the infrastructure that needs to be updated in some of our surrounding cities and villages and towns, it's important that we keep those jobs steady and coming in, because there is a budget that they're able to do this with, and they can partner with these smaller cities and villages in order to update the infrastructure, and that will put our people in our county to work.
All right now. And there's African-American woman, Carrie Steele, who's the current president of the Water Reclamation District. Matter of fact, she's the only biologist that's actually working with the Water Reclamation District. And the former president, Mariana Stropolopoulos, is the clerk, is the Cook County Circuit Court clerk now, in charge of a few thousand jobs. So in the court system, so we have her going on a track to be even greater later, but we got to get her in here first. Yeah. So let's get that done, people. City of Chicago, where this is broadcast, we need everyone's help on board for this wonderful public servant who, when she was in high school, started serving the public and has continued to serve the public, continued to serve our young people as well as our seniors. You want to tell them a little bit about the different things you've done for the youth, for the young adults, and some of the things you've done for seniors throughout your extensive career, and she's still young.
Yeah, I've served over 30,000 youth during my career, training them, empowering them, and creating peer educators throughout the Chicagoland area and throughout the nation. But one of my other passions is my seniors. For 10 years, I can't even believe it. I've been pastoring seniors and people who are disabled or have limited mobility for nearly 10 years in February. February 3rd would be 10 years.
Great.
That we started a ministry called Unchained Ministry, a ministry that's geared for our seniors, that have them in mind, where I provide pastoral care right there at their facilities, not a nursing home, but those who are still living independently, that just can't get out and have the mobility that they used to have. or they cannot access the facilities or the churches because of the stairs or not having ADA accessibility, which it happens. It breaks down, they get there, they can't get in. So that is my passion. I've been doing that in the 16th Ward here in Chicago for 10 years. And then I wrote a new curriculum because I wanted to deal with the trauma and the violence in Chicago with our youth. But most of all, because I come from I call it a sports family, but Ronnie Fields, which is my first cousin, we grew up together as like siblings, who went to Farragut High School.
Played with Garnett.
Yeah.
Taught Garnett how to slam more.
That's right.
On
He
people.
did. He was like a family member
be
to
a
us
beast.
as well. At Farragut High School right there on
Check
on
out
the west side.
Garnett's documentary. Ronnie Fields taught him how to be a beast.
And
Anyway, go ahead.
And so I have taken a curriculum, it's called POP, Prevailing Over Pressure.
Right.
I just completed it at Franklin Park, right there on the west side, 14th and Colin, or Tripp, right there across from the school that I attended, which is Charles Evans Hughes School, the Little Red Firehouse. And so for 6 weeks I provided what we call POP, Prevailing Over Pressure, dealing with trauma, conflict resolution, and violence prevention, building character on the court and off the court. And so with 67 young men between the ages of 10 and 14, we provided this this curriculum with them. And what we found out is that many of them don't know how to deal with the conflict, don't know how to deal with their anger or deal with stress. 85% of the kids say that they have been stressed or have experienced some type of conflict in the last 60 days. 90% of them have said that they've been in a physical altercation in the last 30 days. And so what we're seeing is saying, how do we channel that? How do we help them cope with that? And many of them, almost 100% said that they have dealt with trauma in some form. And so what we're helping them to do is build their character on the court and off the court. And I thought it was a successful program. We'll be heading it up again with Endless Energy Sports. Mr. Mike Matthews, who lead that program, and Moya moving our youth ahead. And so I was grateful to be able to be hands-on in the classroom with 67 young boys for 6 weeks. And that was amazing.
It is amazing.
Yes, and we made it through. And so now this venture of the water reclamation, the first thing I have to do is get on the ballot. And that's where the viewers that we have for CAN TV, that's where you, friends, we have to go back to grassroots campaigning. We have to go back to grassroots because that's what's going to get us where we need to be. And there will be no surprises. I'm boots on the ground every day. My current position is with the county. I'm an outreach manager for seniors, which has only been the last three months maybe, with the 2nd County District Commissioner, Michael Scott Jr. And so I'm excited to be a part of that team, still helping our community with over 300,000 I believe constituents in the 2nd County District, with over 18 wards that we deal with. And that we work with, and just providing the services of Cook County to those residents, and especially our seniors and those who don't get the information. That's my job, is to make sure that they get the information that they need so that they can access the services that they pay for with their taxes.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the greatest benefits to having county jobs is you realize how many other services are available to our county residents. City of Chicago, the biggest portion of the entire county. It's a huge county, but we're the biggest portion by far. And there are a lot of services that are available to us that we oftentimes don't know. And in the old days, and I'm speaking for people I met when I arrived in county government 27 years ago, they were just happy to have the county jobs. Didn't even come back to the community half the time unless you were a family or a close friend. And some didn't even do that. I got to the county assessor's office and got everybody to go in and tell their family and friends about a homeowner's exemption. Had been in existence 20-something years before I arrived there. And some of them exemptions 30 years before I arrived. And the senior freeze was new. It had arrived right a few years in 93 to 94. And I arrived in 98 to help more seniors who was a moderate or low income.
Right.
And most of our people in the African American community, Latino community, didn't have a clue it existed unless they were very close to those officials. I mean, not not even in the group. They had to be like family, friends, close knit, working on political campaigns all over the government. But then we took it out to the community. And I thank God for a guy like Jim Houlihan didn't just take it. His goal was to get it to all the county and all the black and brown communities. And everyone after that has been more receptive to getting it out there. But no one has had the representation across the county like Jim Houlihan, of which I broke my, cut my teeth with getting out in the community. Yes. And I love it. And that's one of my passions, and what we identify the most with in the community is getting information to people. And we got a couple minutes left. I'll let you finish up with the rest of your story on some of your successes, some things you may be helping the county commissioner in the 2nd District get done, like your senior event last week.
So,
and other things that you've done.
That was the first event that they allowed me to kind of take the lead on, take the helm on, and I was excited that I had a team that was able to help me execute that. And our commissioner, Michael Scott Jr., who had a vision to bring our seniors together to fellowship, have some fun, and without them spending their finances the first of the month at an actual casino. It was a Casino Royale. We had nearly 400 seniors from 19 senior buildings and many from the community there with us. And I was excited. They had live band. They had photo booths. We had all type of games there, and we also partnered with Black Men United, the Alderman Monique Scott, Stephanie Coleman, Lakeisha Collins, Omar, which is the state rep,
and the ninth.
Yeah, Morris. And so we were excited to partner with those who believe that our seniors are still valuable and that they're not left behind. So that was easy for me to execute because I love my seniors anyway. They say that, you take care of the widows and the children, you're going to be blessed. So I just want you all to know, help me get on the ballot by signing the petitions. We're going to have a petition rally, and every drop count is the campaign. Every drop count, every drop. And so help me help you. Thank you all for having me. Thank you, Wilbert, for allowing me, especially to come in such a sacred and sensitive space.
And thank you, Shavonda Fields, for being a servant of the people, a servant to the people,
and I still say
for the people, and one who believes that the people are the votes that count, and people makes politics better. People creates their public servants, and we want you all to get her on the ballot so she can help us help more people, and most of all, help us access more jobs with contracts. And she'll definitely do that because that's what she's been doing all her life, creating job opportunities, helping folks access job opportunities, helping folks live healthier.
Yes,
through the various training programs, introduction to training, and letting many people in our community know, hey, you from North Lawndale, you still can run a marathon.
That's right.
You don't have to be from the North Shores or the North Suburbs or from out of town. Right in this town, in this struggling community, you can learn to run a marathon.
That was my mental health.
And she's been a marathon runner in the community, helping get things done for people, from our young folk all the way through our seniors. You don't get that much in a public servant often, sometimes none of it. You just get a politician. So you get a chance to get a public servant on the ballot and into an office that she can serve the public throughout Cook County, as well as make sure the greater Chicago doesn't get left out. So it's been a plum pleasing pleasure to have Shavonda Fields. So let's get her to the next level, and until then, she'll serve the 2nd Commissioner's District of the Cook County.